Hello, my name is Jake Williams, and I am the Alabama Historic Rehabilitation Tax Credit Program Coordinator. You can reach me at 334-230-2691 or at jake.williams@ahc.alabama.gov. The Alabama Historic Rehabilitation Tax Credit Program is a 25% income tax credit on qualified rehabilitation expenses, or QREs. This credit is meant to help defray the costs of rehabilitating historic properties while also ensuring that these properties are preserved according to the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. This program is meant for owners of residential or commercial historic properties, and the program has rules tailored to not only assist in keeping the credits distributed across residential and commercial buildings, but also to ensure that these credits are given to both rural and urban communities. From 2018 through 2022, the Commission will have $20 million in tax credits to award to projects each year. The caps are $5 million for commercial projects and $50,000 for residential projects. For the first 6 months of each calendar year, 40% of the $20 million will be set aside for projects located in rural counties. After those 6 months, however, any remaining funds from that 40% can be given to any project. The Alabama Historical Commission will review all applications to ensure completeness and general qualifications. Then all qualifying projects will be presented to the Historic Tax Credit Evaluating Committee. The Historic Tax Credit Evaluating Committee is made up of the heads of several government agencies as well as 4 legislators. They are who determine the order and rank of qualifying projects based on criteria outlined later in this presentation. The Commission will then reserve credits for projects based on this ranking. What makes Alabama's tax credit program unique is that the tax credit is refundable. So, if your state income tax liability is less than what your tax credit is, you will get a check from the state of Alabama for the difference. To be eligible for the program, the property must be at least 60 years old and it must be either listed or eligible to be listed in the National Register of Historic Places, either individually or as a contributing resource in a district. If a property owner is unsure of whether or not a property will qualify for this program, the Historical Commission will have Determination of Eligibility, or DOE, forms available. These can be completed without having to fulfill any of the deposit requirements for the general application process. After filling out a DOE form, the Commission will meet to determine the eligibility of a property for the program. Part A of the application will determine if a property is eligible for the tax credit program based on certain criteria. This part of the application will consist of the age of the property, NR status, physical description, history and significance, photos and maps, both historic and current. Part B of the application will consist of descriptions of any work completed before the submission of the application, which should be minimal, consisting of emergency repairs or soft costs such as surveying fees. Part B also takes into account the purchase price and fair market value of the property before rehabilitation. Project estimates such as start and completion dates, qualified and non-qualified expenses, and then the tax credit amount you are requesting based on those estimated expenses. For this part, you would also submit photos pre-rehabilitation in addition to current and proposed site and floor plans. The rest of Part B includes criteria questions regarding the economic and community impact the project might have, as well as other funding sources and a summary of the rehabilitation plan. Both Part A and Part B, along with half of the application fee, are submitted all at the same time. You will submit the other half of the application fee when you receive your tax credit reservation. A breakdown of the application fees: if your project cost will be up to $1 million, your fee would be 1% of your qualified rehabilitation expenses. If your project cost will be between $1 million and $10 million, your total application fee would be $15,000, so you would only submit $7,500 with Parts A and B. If your project cost will be over $10 million, your total application fee would be $20,000, so you would submit $10,000 with Parts A and B. The Alabama Historical Commission will determine which projects qualify for the program and pass on a list of these qualifying projects to the Evaluating Committee. The Tax Credit Evaluating Committee will rank all qualified projects in order to most effectively utilize these tax credits in a way that positively impacts the state and its economy. The committee will meet quarterly unless there are no project applications received in a particular quarter. AHC will reserve credits based on the committee-ranked list. The committee will receive a packet for each qualifying project 2 weeks before the committee meeting. These packets will consist of project information including cover sheets for Parts A and B of the applications, photographs of the building and a brief description of the rehabilitation plan, applicants' answers to the criteria questions, any letters of support, and scoring sheets. The Evaluation Committee will determine which projects receive tax credits based on a scoring system with several factors. These factors are the same as the criteria questions in Part B of the application. They include the project's economic impact, maintenance of historic fabric of the community, possible return on investment for community, geographic distribution of the project, strength of local support for the project, and other types of public financing. If more than one project receives the same numerical score, a random drawing will decide the order in the ranked list. Once $20 million in credits are reserved, projects will remain in order on a waiting list based on their committee ranking until tax credits become available, either through rescission of a project's tax credit reservation or when additional credits become available in the next year. We do have project timelines. Projects must spend no less than 20% of the estimated cost of rehabilitation within 18 months of notification of tax credit reservation. They must spend an additional 50% within 36 months. And projects must be completed within 60 months or 5 years of notification of tax credit reservation. It is the applicant's responsibility to notify the Historical Commission of each benchmark met throughout the process. However, we will send the project applicants a letter ahead of time as a reminder. Once the project is completed, Part C of the application must be submitted. Part C of the application is just a certification of completed work, basically proving you did what you said you were going to do in Part B of the application. It includes the actual project data, so actual start and finish dates, qualified and non-qualified expenses, jobs created during the rehabilitation, and, for commercial properties, approximate number of jobs created post-rehabilitation. Also include after photos, a cost and expense certification, and a post-rehabilitation appraisal of the property. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My phone number is 334-230-2691, and my email is jake.williams@ahc.alabama.gov.